Hi, I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World, and in this video I'm showing you how to assemble the giant anteater pattern. Here's how to do it. Okay, this is the video showing how to assemble the anteater if you are not using a light box. And so I've got all the pieces prepped. That means I've printed my pattern on paper-backed fusible adhesive. I use Heat and Bond Light. I fused it to the back of my fabric, and then I cut all of the pieces out on the solid lines. All of these dotted lines that you see in the pattern, those are placement guides that you'll use since you are not using a light box. So you transfer those to the fabric side of the paper. And you can do this, just hold the piece up to a window and those lines will shine right through the fabric so that you can trace over them. So everything is ready to go. Oh, and I forgot to mention the solid lines here, not the dotted lines. The solid lines are stitching lines. And so I transfer those, instead of using chalk, I use a fine tip Sharpie. It's a permanent pen, but that's okay because I'm going to stitch over the black ink with black thread and you'll never see it. So once I get everything prepped like that, I am ready to start assembling. And we are going to start with the big head piece. So I like to lay out most of my blocks what I call snapshot style. So it's like I've snapped a photo of this anteater, but I zoomed way in on his face. So he has a body, it's just not showing in the photo that I'm taking. So in order to get that illusion, I want that straight cut edge from the side to go off the block. So I line it up right with the raw edge of the block. And when I sew my blocks together, it'll be caught in the seam allowance and it'll give that illusion of being a cropped photo. And actually I need this to go up quite a bit higher because we have a tongue here. So we can pull it a little bit lower because they are kind of low to the ground animals. Just check and make sure, yep, that is going to fit. So we're going to put him there. Now let's go ahead and peel the back off the tongue. So I have a little line that I transferred here. I'm not sure if you can see it. There's a little chalk mark right there where I transferred that dotted line. That is showing where this will overlap. So I want to tuck this underneath his nose until that line is covered. And then I'm just going to smooth all this down. There we go. Now he's got a dark patch on his body. Kind of a dark swoosh. And in reality, they have a little bit of a white stripe at the top and bottom of this dark edge. But rather than having an additional very skinny applique piece, I am just going to outline this line and this line with white thread just to suggest that white edging to this black patch. Then he's got an ear. And that is going to go right where I've marked with the chalk. Just get that covered up. And he's got an eye. And there it goes. All right, so I'm going to take this over to my ironing board, fuse everything in place, just follow the directions on whatever brand of fusible adhesive you are using. And then I will do all of the outline stitching on it, and I'll bring it back here and show you this finished sample and two others that I made in two other colors. Okay, this is the giant anteater that I made in the most realistic colors. And one thing that I wanted to point out, usually I do all of my outline stitching in black. I really like that kind of cartoony look of black thread around each of the pieces. But one of the things, the distinctive things, if you look at a giant anteater and you're trying to do realistic coloring, is that they have a dark, almost black stripe on the side, but they have little white stripes of fur on the edges of that black stripe. And instead of giving you teeny little slivers of fabric to applique, which can fray, if you have a piece that's that skinny, that can fray very easily in the wash. So I just did white stitching along the edges of that instead to give you that realistic coloring without sacrificing the durability of your quilt block. So I also did this anteater in a couple of completely not realistic colors. So this is a version that I made. I'm working on a bugs quilt that is going to have bright gemstone colored bugs all on gray backgrounds, and I wanted to also add the anteater as an option in that bundle, so that you can just also add an anteater to your bugs quilt. Of course, I still need to do an ant pattern, but I'll get there. So this one I did in colors from the gemstone blenders, and I did one more. So this is also using colors from the gemstone blenders, but this is for a rainforest sample that I'm working on, where all of the blocks, the animals are all in gemstone colors, and also the background blocks are from the gemstone collection. So 3 different anteaters, 3 totally different colorways, but on all of them I put the darkest color in that stripe and added white to the edges of it, just to give it that little suggestion of reality, even when I'm turning in purple or orange. I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World. This is the Anteater pattern. You can get it at my website, and I will see you next time.